But what I wanted to do today is I'm not going to make a big long speech and talk on and on. I just want to touch on some of the points that we're working on in Washington that will affect the schools directly in District 20, and then hear from you a little bit and to begin a dialogue between you and me, and then hear from me the commitment that I will, as soon as I can, get to every school in the district, meet with every principal, meet with every parent coordinator, try to meet with some of the teachers, the great teachers of your schools, and then also some of the parents as well. It will take a little time because we're home. Right now, I'm home only on Fridays, some Mondays, but Fridays only, and the month of March, they've got us booked in every day to be in Washington, but there will be time when we'll get it done, so I ask you for a little patience with that. There are, and see that I got breakfast served as well. I want to say I told Peter to get breakfast started, but he said, no, I'll wait for you to get here, Mike, so you can take credit for it. But we are working in partnership with your state elected and with the city folks, and we will continue to do that. But as you know, in Washington right now, there is a total shift in philosophy. For the last 8 years, there was the No Child Left Behind, a totally unfunded mandate, a virtually unfunded mandate that had some good elements to it but didn't have the funds to it, and there was a philosophy in Washington that has done a complete about-face. And now we are coming forward with a stimulus package because our economy is so in such dire straits. But there are many, particularly in the House of Representatives, who feel that the greatest investment we can make, yes, we want to rebuild our roads. Yes, we want to rebuild our bridges. Yes, we need to rebuild our school buildings. Yes, we need to rebuild our hospitals. But the most important stimulus investment we can make is into education. And studies have shown, it's funny, there's a story in the New York Times today that talks about Japan in the 90s had a very much similar stagnant economy to what we have now. And in Japan, I see we're joined by our great Assemblywoman Janelle Spencer. Janelle. And in Japan, while they invested in bricks and mortar, they did not make the investment in education and healthcare that they needed to make. And so we are now formulating a package that has very significant investments in our education. I'll come back to those in a minute. There are really three areas that I wanted to talk to you about: Title I funding, No Child Left Behind, and then the stimulus package investment. Title I funding, as you know, has gone through a lot of changes in Washington during the last 8 years, and it's dramatically affected some of the schools even in this district. It is an important program because it helps schools that have specific needs get the resources that they need targeted into those schools. I think one thing we've learned, and maybe Chancellor Klein still hasn't gotten, and I'm going to be in trouble now for singling him out, but what he hasn't gotten is that one size does not fit all in education. Just as every child is different, just as every child's family circumstances are different, every school is different and should be treated accordingly. And there are some schools that need extra resources, and actually probably in this district, because of the different demographics, every school needs those extra resources. And there were some significant cuts made to Title I last year that we are now trying to refund and expand back those programs into the schools in this district. The other issue is No Child Left Behind. As you guys know better than I, the Bush administration came up with that program, which has some good elements to it, sets good standards and goals, but did not provide the funding necessary to provide those resources to get those programs in place. And so we are working to change some of those regulations, but also get the funding in so that you can get the resources in to meet those goals. It's okay to set a goal, and it's a good thing to set a goal, but if you don't give the school, the principal, and the great teachers, and the parent coordinator, and the students the resources that they need, then you can't achieve that goal. And lastly, there's the stimulus package itself. So let me just tell you that right now, as you know, the House of Representatives passed a bill that has been sent to the Senate, and the Senate now it's a funny experience for me because I come from a one-house legislature. Now I know what Peter and Janelle go through up in Albany. in the city council, you know, there's no upper house and lower house, it's just the city council and the mayor. So we would pass the bill and send it to the mayor, and he could veto it or not veto it, but we had such a majority, it didn't matter, we could always override the veto if that was the will of the council. But now in Washington, we pass the bill in the House, and, you know, the president comes and says, look, this is the bill we want, this is the way it's going to be, you guys vote for it, and then we vote on it and send it over to the Senate, and they start tearing it apart, and now the president's saying, well, okay, we could change that, and we could change that, which is a little different than what he told us. But we in the House are very committed to making education a priority. And as you know, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. She's not someone that I agree with on everything, but making investment in education and healthcare and science, those are her priorities. Those are priorities I agree with, because I think that's where our money was best to be spent. So we have in the package that the House passed for Brooklyn as a whole. I only have the numbers for Brooklyn yet. I don't have them broken down for District 20, but we will have those soon. But the Title I increases that will come to Brooklyn in 2009, it's $146 million, and in 2010, it's $146 million. Construction money that will go into the schools to help the whole in the city's capital budget for all of Brooklyn would be $316 million. So I think even Peter and Janelle would say we're starting to talk about real money here for a change. And then the IDF, I forgot to mention the money for special education. As you know, for years the federal government has made mandates as well for special education for those children with disabilities, and never funded it. In our package, there would be $59 million in 2009 and $68 million in 2010. So the total numbers for 2009 would be $522 million, and for 2010, $215 million. The difference being that the construction money is a 2-year program, so it's only listed for the first year. So those are numbers that would go to Brooklyn as a borough, and then those dollars would come down to the district as well. Some would say that, you know, this stimulus package, it's not a good idea to do because it may be only for 2 years. But I say let's get it done, let's get money into the system, and let's get education moving, and let's make education a priority for our country. This package would increase the federal government's Department of Education's budget to the largest it's ever been in its history, and I think it's a good thing to do. So that's where we are. Now, the package is with the Senate. Please follow the stories. You'll see that hopefully by the end of this week, hopefully by the weekend or early next week, they will pass their version, and then it will be sent back to us. We are working very closely with our colleagues in Albany, and I want to, before I open up the dialogue with you all, because again, I'm not here to make speeches. I'm here more to listen and learn. But I would like to ask Janelle, Peter spoke, and I'd like to ask Janelle if you'd like to come up and say a few words.